Hello everybody, going live twice in one day, crazy. All right, so I wanted to talk about what is an overstride. So I just did a consult with somebody a few minutes ago. We were talking about how in their mind they were overstriding. So my question to them was, what is an overstride? And their definition of an overstride was landing in front of their center of mass when they run. Now, then I showed them various videos and screenshots of professional runners landing way out in front of their center of mass. And I flipped it back to this person and said, so if every professional and elite runner out there that are the best runners in the world land in front of their center of mass, does that change what your definition of an overstride is? Because if your definition of an overstride is landing in front of a center of mass, and every professional / elite runner lands in front of their center of mass, then either the definition is wrong or all of these elite runners, again, the best runners in the world, are running incorrectly and overstriding. So it has to be that what the understanding of an overstride is incorrect, okay? So what is an overstride? Well, firstly, let's talk about the gait cycle. And there is a section, or there is a piece of the gait cycle. Remember, the gait cycle is 14 distinct phases, of which the landing point and the takeoff are 2 phases. Okay, so we've got stance phase where the foot is on the ground. We've got swing phase where the foot is off the ground and swinging. And then within the swing phase, we've got the foot traveling backwards, swinging, forward swinging, terminal forward swing, and then when it comes backwards and hits the ground and lands. Now, those are different things. Just to repeat that again, when our foot comes off the ground, it continues to travel backwards until it gets pulled forwards, swings forwards until it gets then pulled backwards. So those 2 changes of direction of travel are very, very important for understanding the difference between what you think is an overstride and what actually is technically an understride. Okay, so what is an understride? Well, I'm going to get my pen and I'm going to demonstrate this with a pen. Very simple. So stance phase, foot hits the ground, body goes over the foot. So let's think about it as if we were on a treadmill. Foot hits the ground, goes backwards, comes off the ground, continues to go backwards, goes into swing phase, and in the air, before it hits the ground, gets pulled backwards and then hits the ground as it's traveling backwards. So in a good gait cycle, in a well-functioning gait cycle, we get terminal forward swing, then the foot gets pulled backwards and hits the ground on a backward traveling leg. Okay, very, very important that we understand this and we accept this as a function of good, or as a part of a well-functioning gait. So the foot hits the ground on a backward traveling leg relative to center of mass. So what happens when somebody is overstriding, that I say you have to get out of thinking it's an overstride and start thinking of it as an understride? It's an incomplete stride. So if an incomplete stride is not completing all 14 points of the gait cycle, which if you analyze a gait, you'll see that, what it will mean is that as the leg is swinging forwards, it will hit the ground as it's swinging forwards, i.e. it didn't complete its terminal forward swing and then being pulled backwards before it hits the ground. So there's 2 phases of the gait cycle that are being missed, which is terminal forward swing while the foot is still in the air, reversal of swing, direction of swing, and then hitting the ground. So you're missing out on terminal forward swing and then the change of direction. Because if you're landing on a forward traveling leg, it's still traveling forwards. Thus, it hasn't completed its gait cycle, its swing phase. So it is an understride, not an overstride. It's a biomechanical understride. Now, as we know from research and from slow motion video analysis and from the research, which really was the biggest study, was 2017, the IAAF World Championships. And that study showed us that every single runner who was competing in the IAAF 2017 World Championships landed in front of their center of mass, somewhere between 27 and 40 centimeters in front of their center of mass. That's 27 to 40 centimeters in front of their center of mass that the elite runners, the best runners in the world at the 2017 World Championships, were landing between 27 and 40 centimeters in front of their center of mass. Now, some of them may have been landing at terminal forward swing, in which case they might actually be able to improve on their running biomechanics to land better. But the question is, will that improve their performance? So for an elite runner, that's really what they're looking at, is performance improvement. Maybe they do care about their biomechanics. Maybe they don't care so much about their biomechanics. But if we don't have a complete stride and a complete gait cycle, those 14 phases, the first thing we want to do is optimize that, especially if you are not an elite runner. If you're somebody who is a club runner, just somebody who runs for enjoyment, the first thing you want to do is optimize your gait biomechanics, because really that's the low-hanging fruit there. All right. So in terms of whether you are overstriding or understriding, you have to look at the gait and do the gait analysis and see whether you are completing the stride. i.e., are you getting to terminal forward swing while the leg is still in the air, and then landing as the leg starts to come back? And then the next part is, where is it landing relative to a vertical tibia? Okay, so that's the next part of it. All right, where the foot lands. Is the tibia vertical when the foot lands? Don't worry about which part of the foot lands. Worry about what direction the foot is traveling in when it lands. That's going to give you a much better understanding of stride biomechanics and landing biomechanics. Okay? So I just wanted to quickly jump on and talk about that. Talk to you soon. Bye.